Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Ryan. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty well overall. I am doing okay.
Oh.
I feel like if I give any response, it'll be met with "aww," because guess what, Rachel? I'm actually feeling yum yum at the end of the day. At the end of all of the emotions stem from yum yum, because that is the true emotion of the human condition. When all of these great science fiction writers explore what it is to be human, they're fools because we already know what it is, and it is, in fact, yum yum. But how are you doing?
Yum.
Well, you're halfway there, Rachel. By the end of the episode, we'll get you to a full yum yum. Don't you worry about it, everyone. But, in all honesty, how are things on your end?
Pretty good.
She's doing it again. She's giving short, sweet answers cause she's an introvert, everyone. When I get Rachel on the podcast, it is like dentistry with the pulling of teeth.
Don't tell him that.
Don't listen to the podcast, everyone. Don't do it. Don't think it. Don't say it. But no.
Bye-bye, man.
Bye-bye, man. We are, in fact, the Bye-bye, man podcast, the only podcast to cover Bye-bye, man frame by frame. No. I wish. That's our evil mirror universe versions. We are the good ones. We are Yum Yum Podcast, a podcast that goes through science fiction television, one episode at a time, at least sci-fi TV for now. We may change that up one day. It's just been the pattern thus far, but we are a husband and wife team, and we are watching through episodes of a given series, and we have done Star Trek Discovery, Space Above and Beyond, Babylon 5, and on our Patreon, we've done even more. We've covered newer Star Trek like Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Picard, and a myriad of other things, maybe even a little bit of Doctor Who from time to time. But Rachel, what is it that we're talking about today? I don't know. I'm in the episode. I can't read the description or the title of it for myself.
But you did do the preparation. You have the notes.
But you also have notes, so I thought you could lend some support in this time of need.
Yeah, it's my turn to do the explanation.
Yes, it is. No, it isn't. It's my turn to say what the show's about. I just want to know what we were watching. What are we watching?
Oh, The Expanse.
We've seen this before?
No.
Oh.
Neither of us have seen this before.
Now that we're way beyond the halfway point, we're several episodes past it, do you feel like you have a bit of egg on your face for not checking this out when it first dropped?
No.
Wow, Rachel with a very quick answer to that no. I'm happy that we were watching something. What were we watching when this came out?
I don't know, but I'm glad that we weren't along for the journey of cancellations.
That is a case. I am very excited to see what The Expanse is going to become when it is no longer a Sci-Fi Channel show, but an Amazon Prime original blah 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 show. I know that there's going to be some shake-ups. That's just naturally going to be the case, but I am curious, and we're getting even closer to it, but neither of us have seen The Expanse before, so please...
Buddy, the Sci-Fi logo.
Buddy, the Sci-Fi logo did pop up because we are going to finish the third season with the Blu-rays we bought straight off the bat. Then we're going to transition to the other series with the full series pack we have. I've never had this before where I have two versions of the show on Blu-ray at the same time, only because it wasn't available in full before, and so we bought the first three for the podcast, and then we're saying we'll get there when we get there with season 4, and then The Expanse suddenly said, hey, we'll help you out, Yum Yum Podcast. But we are first-time watchers, and that means we don't know anything, so please do not spoil this for us. If you are just chomping at the bit, if you are just drooling, if you're screaming, no guys, don't you understand this, but it's a spoiler, please keep it to yourself, or you can join our Patreon where we release these episodes early and you get to be a part of our community. You get to be a part of our group Discord where there is a channel there, a thread there where you can spoil stuff to your heart's content, and Rachel and I don't get to see it, but your fellow Yumlings get to see it. And I imagine that you're all having a hootenanny over there.
In earnest, I'm looking forward to being able to go through that channel when we're done.
I know people on the occasion make bets on what we will find Yum Yum, and Yum Yum was a moment from Star Trek Discovery for those not in the know that was so absurd, so ludicrous, just so mind-bogglingly weird, in which a side character, a very minor character, was having a conversation with yes, of course, it's very loose frame. They're Havelock. So the series equivalent of Havelock for Discovery was having a conversation with a space Hitler and telling them that they can go kill the antagonist now. And they were having a little conversation back and forth. Oh, should we murder the antagonist? Do you want to make him scream? And this side character, who's also a wonderful Canadian actor, because everyone films up in Canada nowadays. And I bring that up because this series, The Expanse, has so many Canadian actors in it too. But this wonderful Canadian actress just licked her lips, threw her hair back, and said yum yum in a breathy tone of voice, a sexy tone of voice. It was erotically charged as well as humorous.
You're
for
continuing the lie.
It's not a lie, Rachel. She did flick her hair back. And she flicked it forward and back and forth, and then Willow Smith's song played in the background of the scene. It was very moving. That's what got Michelle Yeoh her Oscar in the end.
But distracting.
We are distracting from the point, which is Yum Yum was such a joyous time, a horny time, a funny time. But I think it's time to know what episode of The Expanse you and I have watched for the first time, and we will be discussing for the first time. I don't know what the synopsis is. I don't know what your thoughts are.
You do know what the title.
I do know what the title is.
What's the title, Ryan?
Fallen World, which sounds like a Jurassic World sequel film.
Drummer and Ashford find themselves trapped with few options for survival. Anna tends to the wounded masses as Melba continues to hunt down her prey. The Rocinante crew struggles to survive as Naomi reunites with her true family. It's another semicolon heavy description.
And all of them I burned till evil.
Singing now make you more interesting. Less, in fact.
Now, this is the part that everyone actually tunes in for. No one cares about two Australian married people.
On the episode.
No one cares about that. No one supports the podcast financially on Patreon for that. No.
No, that happens at the end.
Everyone's here to know why they can hear our pants getting ruffled a bit, why there's a growth happening in mine, why there's something happening in yours, who knows, because things are getting hot and heavy on the podcast now. Well, Rachel, this whole segment is gross.
Moment, so Yum Yum was, according to Ryan, inherently sexual.
Don't say according to me. You have said on this podcast too. Do not act like a prude now just because your Amos pick is really short this week.
I wasn't given a lot to work with. Okay. So, for The Expanse, a show that started with zero-G sex.
For our lead character, we met him via fucking.
We discuss what moment got us hot under the collar, as you like to say. What was the particularly sexy moment of the episode, Ryan? What was your yum yum moment?
Fallen World. Now, there's a lot of characters moving about, but it was so simple for me of what was the yum yum moment. It's so obvious. It's as plain as the nose on my face. And I'm so sorry, Rachel, that you're going to be stuck with your automatic Amos pick, because it's not so obvious. But mine is obvious, which is Melba / Clarissa Mao boards the Rocinante in a big mech suit thing and is trying to clobber the ever-loving shit out of Naomi, only to then get electrified by Anna in an even cooler little suit with a big goofy grin. And you know me, I love a bit of girl on girl. And I love that. And it got me really racing. I was so pumped by that.
My pick was simply Anna stunning Melba.
That
was the note that I made.
You and I included the whole thing because, hey, 3 ladies battering each other around in big goofy suits, jumping around a cargo bay with wires. I mean, with zero G.
Yeah, if I know my husband.
You put it down too. So don't you try and get up my ass. There's no other sexy stuff in this episode, huh?
No.
There's not even a clue of it. Maybe Alex, he looked pretty rugged in Zero G for some reason. I don't know what it is, but the way he got roughed up in this one, he looked particularly young. I don't know, he looked sexier.
With something. We were debating on what it was.
Was it a knife? Was it a fork? I don't know. But am I incorrect? Did he, for some reason, the way that his hair was scruffed up and the makeup and just him?
Oh, yeah, he looked better than usual.
He looked rugged, really rugged. And he already looks pretty rugged. But Rachel, what is the automatic Amos pick? And why do I feel sorry for you this week?
Well, Ryan got tired of my yum yum moments always being Amos related.
Always blaming me for things, I'm noticing this episode. Ryan did this, Ryan's perspective. But what is yours on Amos, Rachel? Because this is why it exists.
I really enjoy Amos as a character.
Oh, really? Oh, really? You enjoy his character, huh?
I do. I enjoy other things about the performance as well.
I'm seeing that you're stalling, Rachel. You're floundering here. Why is that? Oh, because there's barely anything to pick from, but you have to. This is your curse for ogling at one of the cast members of the show every episode. And good luck to you when he's not in an episode, because it's getting clear that he could just not appear in any, and you will still have to pick. So what is it?
Well, I don't think he's in the opening credits, so I can't.
He's in the opening credits.
Like his name, but is he is a figure?
Only Holden is the figure in the opening credits.
What I meant.
So yeah,
like I can't pick Wes Chatham.
You'll pick his name.
Name appearing on screen.
My favorite Amos bit was Wes. So
I might have to one day.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Fallen world. I'm about to fall off my chair to know what you had to look at and say, yeah, that's the Amos bit.
Yeah, like, it's either him being like, you changed your hair, or him drifting in and out of consciousness in Medbay. And they're both equally unsexy.
So, just his whole screen time is your selection.
Like, I just can't decide because they're just both useless to me in this.
You didn't like it when his eyes lit up with joy and asked Naomi if she's staying to help or if she's staying in general, and then she said, I'm here, I'm family, and then he gave these puppy dog expression of, yay, the girl that I am open to fucking is back. Now, to give some thoughts on this episode, quick overview. I don't know what you thought of it, and I'm still figuring it out for myself. I thought this episode was pretty good overall, but it didn't leave a huge mark on me, especially after Dandelion Sky. This feels like a big step down for me, but I did like how
that's part of the pattern that we've had with the Expanse.
Yes, it feels like every big episode we get several steps down, but for an episode like this, I thought it was done really, really supremely well. I like having characterful episodes, and this is mainly that, in which we're having a plethora of duologues or trios with people as they get to...
You're loving the Anna stuff that you get into?
The Anna stuff's good, but this is very much a case of we trap two people together and make them talk. And that's what I will think of this for. I will think of this for Ashford and Drummer having to face off against one another whilst also having to work together. And it does a great deal of work towards fleshing those two characters, making them deeper, making them more nuanced, making them understand one another more, while still, at the end of the day, having them be opposed. So I'm a fan of it, but it is not the biggest episode to me, nor does it need to be. But it's here to offer up some material to talk about.
As much as I can't remember that there was an episode a few ago now where it was just like, and the pieces move into place. This episode has a lot of those qualities, but doesn't feel as dragged down by it because there is more character stuff going on.
I will agree with you with that. So, did you like this one, or what's your opinion on it?
It was okay. I wasn't wowed by it. It got the job done. I was invested in most of it, but there were some things that annoyed me. But it wasn't because I was like, oh, they're fucking just doing this for drama or whatever. It was just like, oh, God, they're just doing this because they have to do this.
Do you have any examples?
Oh, it's mainly the stuff with Gunny and the Martians.
Well, let's talk about Gunny. She is here. That's my note.
She's back. She's back.
She's back
she's
in
smart.
black. Nah, she's in grey, actually. She's in her mech suit. And no, she's not. She's in her little grey skivvy thing. Her little grey, is it a unitard or leotard or whatever you want to call it?
They're still in the ship at the start of the episode.
Yes, I'm talking about their outfits. But yeah, they're...
She's in her mech suit for a little while.
She's in it. So... talk us through Bobby, your favorite character. You're so glad she's back and she's
rescues
here.
Holden with the two other surviving members of the Martian Marines. Get back to the ship. They have their orders, and the dude wants to kill Holden. And then Bobby's like, no. And the chick's just like, maybe we should. And Bobby's like, no. And they're heading back to the base ship that Holden apparently attacked.
Now, you broke it down in the most simple of ways, the plot beats of it. What I'm saying is, what you just did is as enthralling as actually watching it. I found this so paint by numbers, so tedious, so dull. It made me think of when we met Bobby with the Marines in the first place.
It's just like,
what an empty.
Oh, we're spending minutes on this. Great.
What an empty move
what time is
on
it?
the writers'
When is this
part
going to be
there.
over?
It was so hollow to me when they did that, and very much drawn out too. They drew that moment out so much, and there was
they're
no
not gonna fucking kill him.
And even her lesson of, see, this is not what we don't do this. We follow orders. See, I'm following the chain. Yeah. Okay, we got that from literally like the first sentence of the scene.
And her being like, I shot first.
Yeah, which we noted in the previous episode. This is just really reminding me of those stretch of episodes of Bobby in season 2 with her Marines.
The wheel is rotating. The wheel is rotating.
Sure. What do you want to say about it? Because it's easy just to say the plot beats of it, but what about this is...
I think it makes a lot of sense that Bobby is, like, defending Holden's honor and, you know, protecting his life, which would not have been the case if Bobby wasn't on that mission. Holden would be dead.
Of course, because what he's doing is insane to everyone. He is not explaining himself, not even to the Rocinante crew. He just leaves. He just does what he does because he's Jimmy Holden.
He's incapacitated in this episode for the majority of it, and then we get the dinger thing at the end where he wakes up enough to say a scary statement.
They don't know how to end their episodes sometimes, huh?
No, they just default.
They do this thing that TV shows love to do, especially when they have a big cliffhanger thing, which is to say the most trite, mysterious line ever. The end is here. The world is changing. All of that trailer-like dialogue
I want to get
that
past
you want to...
this, please. I want to,
let's
you're
talk
doing
about
a thing. I don't like it. It doesn't make me any more interested. In fact, it makes me less interested.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing the default thing. And it's just like, yeah, you need a beat, but come on. Do something a bit different. Because we get that in so many other aspects of the show. But when it comes to ending and starting episodes and scene transitions, the scripts are always just, we do the thing. Like,
well, when you say
like
that,
the characters falling asleep and waking up from being unconscious more than
Oh, that's a favorite in this show.
It's a fucking favorite. And it's
I'm waking up and I've got that the tinny sound in my ear.
It's be a little bit of a pet peeve because it's just like, and unconscious.
The ringing in your ears, the slow-mo, trauma has happened, but I'm serene and calm and I'm realizing what's going on.
The end of the episodes, like, a lot of the time are this, like, line that's meant to leave you like, oh no, I can't wait till next week, I want to know!
They do suffer from, on the occasion, and I wouldn't say always, because they have gotten better, but this is an example of them falling into the trap of we need to follow the formula of writing rather than the catharsis of the audience. I would have been much happier if we ended on Anna, the reveal of Anna on the Rocinante.
Oh yeah, if we didn't go back to the
we end
skip.
with that. You can shuffle stuff around. You can still have Holden waking up and saying that, but when you end it with that, it is just so familiar. This show has done that before well, and it's just, I don't get joy from it like I did with genuine surprise that Anna was there, and not just surprise of she's there, but surprise of, oh, we have opportunities that I didn't think were afforded to us. But with Holden saying, the end is blah, blah, blah. It's like,
we didn't think Anna was going to follow Melba. We knew that Holden was going to wake up.
And even if we did know she was going to, what that offers up for future potential is vast in comparison to, hey, spooky line. Ooh. But note down how quickly we pivoted away from Bobby.
Oh yeah, like that's still, like, we still keep on doing that because it's just like, yes, she's an interesting enough character. We've been on a journey with her already, but neither of us like her when she's being a Martian Marine just straight up. We don't find that interesting. We don't find there to be tension where they are telling us that there's tension, because a part of it is that they're still questioning her loyalty to Mars, and she's trying to reassure them that no, I know my place, I am doing my duty.
But underneath it, she's still questioning it herself.
Yep. And she doesn't know, and we don't know if it comes down to it, would she pick Holden or would she pick Mars?
But we deeply do know that she will pick Holden because of how much she's defending him, but also he's the lead character of the series.
We know that he's going to be right. So, and Gunny has been shown to choose the right side.
You saw what happened. He did not kill anyone that placed it.
Looked to me like he knew what he was doing down there, like he was controlling it.
We don't know that for sure.
LT gets torn to pieces by God knows what. You don't blink, but Sleeping Beauty takes a little tumble. It's all hands on deck.
I fired first. I was willing to take him out.
I have grown tired, as have you, with shows that think that they need to subvert the expectations, shake up the way that you tell stories to be clever or to be surprising, when what you're doing is you're lacking honesty, you're lacking coherence.
Like, we've complained about that sense of showrunners changing things because they've seen somebody predict something or theorize something. And the fact that this is still like in the book series, they don't have to worry about that.
But they are having to change things because it's an adaptation.
Yes,
but
they are adapting the books.
But to round out my point, this is what I've come to realize is the most important to me via doing this podcast. I don't need you to reinvent the wheel and subvert when it comes to telling the plot, the story, the big thing, such as the sci-fi concept. But what I do need is for you to have a unique take, maybe reinvent the wheel here for character stuff. Because Bobby's stuff is all character stuff. There is no plot to it, and that's perfectly fine. So if it's all character-based, what is special about it? Absolutely nothing. And that is the damning thing. I don't need the big plot of The Expanse to be something I've never seen before. I need it to be told well. And that's more important to me. But the character stuff, I do need it not only to be told well, but to have a point of view that only this show can offer up. And that's what they've done so well with characters like Anna, characters like Drummer, characters like Naomi even, or Erin Wright, or Christian. That's why we love Christian so much, because what other show in this in this stable has a character like her? Basically none.
I'm going to reuse the wheel metaphor. We don't need them to reinvent the wheel. We need to make sure that the wheels are customized for the show.
That's it. And so Bobby is here because Bobby's a character that is in the books and is in the show, and we have to bring her back. We have to have her meet up with Holden. We have to have her and Holden go to a location or not go to a location. Fine. But it all feels perfunctory to me. I really am over having to try and always reinvest in Bobby, only for the show to finally pick it up and then put it down again. I'm worried that we're going to have that again, where by the end of the season, we're going to be like, oh, I'm actually on board with Bobby again, only for midway through season 4 for them to fuck it up again.
I have also had that fear.
They have an interesting concept that is with Bobby, though, because she and her Marines are learning about, and one of the reasons that they've really pissed off at Holden is he activated the device and it made the speed reduction happen. So the speed was reduced and it made everyone...
From audience perspective, it's just like, well, no, that was kind of their fault because they attacked him within it and it triggered a response.
Which is what Bobby discovered too. She sees that the bullets are still frozen there.
Yep.
And that it's actually their fault, not Holden's fault. But she doesn't even fully say that.
No, she doesn't explain that to them.
She explains parts of it, but she's not there to say it's actually us who killed everyone. Because what happened is the speed suddenly went down, and as we saw with the Rockhopper, the momentum of it all made people lunge forward and get the inertia absolutely splattered them. The gravity's all gone, and some people lived, many people did not, and many people are severely injured.
Of the effect of 0G on healing wounds.
Yes, we get that with Anna, but I actually really liked this as a repercussion of what happened in the last episode.
Yeah.
Because when we saw the last episode, it stopped the ships or slowed them down, and we were just so surprised by that. It decided to do that.
We didn't think about the consequences as much, but it pays attention to that.
And unlike most other science fiction shows, it paid attention to the science here of like, what would happen if you suddenly halted? Oh, you know what would happen in real life. You would be pushed forward, like you would just be inertia. All of this would kick in, and most shows would often opt not to have that, or if they do, it's just that some wires came out of the roof of the ship and some rocks fell out of the ship, as you see in Star Trek, sparks and all of that. But maybe someone got like launched over the console, but they're fine. The doctor gave him a pat on the back. No, this episode, if it's the most effective at anything, it's the science fiction horror of how dangerous it is to be in space.
Yeah, the effects with everybody floating and the blood in the air, and when they have to vacuum up the blood, was fantastic.
Really, really wonderful. I thought that them coming back to a new angle again. A new, fresh way within this series of showing us that space is an unforgiving beast that will punish you.
It is dangerous.
That, again, coming back to that conversation Anna had with that other religious figure about how there's just more bloodshed out there, that there is no God. Well, look at what's happened here. It looks pretty much like what that guy is saying is coming to pass even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I really thought that that when we cut to Anna on the Thomas Prince and she's walking around in a daze, although we kind of made fun of how this show loves to use that, it was still useful. It was still effective. It still got me.
Angles.
It was still effective to have the reveal of here's a hallway full of dead people, blood everywhere, and just her having to contend with it and realize that I have to step up, not as a minister anymore, like I was thinking in the last episode. I have to be the nurse. I have to be the medical person here. And what does she proceed to do, Rachel? So once she's kind of processed the horrors in front of her.
Yeah, she's given herself a little shot and she's found her way to the medbay.
Yeah, to where all of the bodies are being put.
Triage.
Yeah.
A location. And is just like, okay, let me help. And he's just like, nah, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way. There's nothing that you can do. And then we get the explanation that, your body can't heal in 0G because your blood can't pool and coagulate the way that it naturally does to heal. So any internal wounds
is basically a death sentence. If there's broken bones, you can fix those.
You can fix that, but if anybody's bleeding
on the inside, you're done.
They're fucked.
There's nothing other than just to sit here and be there for when they die. That's all you'd have to do. So get out of here, go find people, bring them back in, fix broken bones, heal others, but there's nothing for you here.
No.
What a great idea.
Yep.
What a great idea. And it makes sense to me. It's one of those where you nod along going, oh, of course. And it's not just, oh, of course, because of whatever little bits of idea we have about of our actual reality, but for this series, they have made it abundantly obvious that you get fucked up in space, and when it comes to gravity and lack of gravity,
there's consequences for the lack of gravity in different situations. And we had that reminder what feels like forever ago now, when Holden's like, you always wear your mag boots.
So Anna does what she does best, which is notice things that nobody else is noticing. She finds her friend,
because her
Melba.
friend calls her.
No, Melba. She finds her quote-unquote friend Melba first, and she doesn't know that Melba is the woman that that
she finds
Tilly
Melba,
was talking about.
Takes Melba to get her bone treated. Then when she's doing that, that's when Tilly calls.
She tries to console Melba. She's still being a friend to her. She's reminding her that, hey, I'm Anna. We've talked before. And Melba...
I'm ministering.
I'm also doctoring right now. I'm nursing. So please let me help you. And Melba is very much not wanting to be noticed as usual. She does not want to be seen, but fucking hell, this nice blonde lady from the Santa Claus 2 and the Santa Claus 3 and the Santa Claus TV series has kept spotting me over and over and over again. My luck. What a bummer. I hope that she doesn't track me down later. That would be really annoying for me. Oh well, she's got a phone call from that woman I tried to murder. I better leave.
Skedaddle.
I better skedaddle. And can we just talk about Clarissa Mao and how do you feel about her? How do you feel about her as a character and how they are playing her, not only in the performance but in the writing?
Oh, it's a bit flat. There's a little bit of like, we're dealing with this huge thing, and they need a small thing. And Clarissa is that small thing that poses a threat and has spiraled out to all of these other things, because so many of the things that have gone wrong are ultimately because of her choices and action.
And yet she still hasn't accomplished the one thing she set out to do because of everything she's done.
I just don't believe that she's going to.
Oh, I think
she's going to fuck up a bunch of shit, but I don't see her succeeding in killing Holden.
Of course not. He's not even close to where she is at the end of this episode too, but I realized that I think Clarissa is one of the funniest characters on the show. I think
she's so pathetic. It's hilarious.
Think she's hilarious. I laughed and laughed and laughed at after she got found and she got treated. She just slinked away and she's like pressing on one of the screens and she's doing her usual shit of figuring out where Holden is and his ship is caught too. Ooh, and like the camera does a dramatic zoom in, the music. They're playing it serious, but since her character is pathetic, as you say, where everything she does has horrible ramifications, but it never gets her the outcome she wants, which is to kill Holden, which is to fuck over Holden. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, he went inside the ring. I'll go inside the ring.
Just imagine her dad hearing all of this and being
she's a complete fuck up at being a Machiavellian villain, but she's going to keep trying to do it. And I find it hilarious. I find it that she's this like God's joke of a character where she's going to grit her teeth, literally grit them so that she can get super strength, kill this person over here, and then immediately get found out. So when at the end of the episode she gets taken down by the fucking reverend, I laughed, not only because it was a surprise, but it's not, because of course Melba got taken down like that. Of course Melba got found out like that. Of course Clarissa Mao is a failure, because even the fucking ditzy debutante Tilly noticed her, and even the fucking ditzy dumb debutante who's not the brightest bulb in the shed was smarter than Clarissa Mao in terms of she understands redemption in others, she understands forgiveness, she understands fucking empathy. Even though that was what got her killed, she understood something that Clarissa Mao is too dumb to understand at this time, and I think she's
too
funny.
Blinded.
She's funny. I can't wait to see more of her adventures of being a fucking idiot. She's just bad at being a bad person. And that is not the same as saying she's a bad character. Like, I think she's a great character. I want to see what they're going to do with her now that we're at this point. When we started with her, I couldn't give a shit. I was like, oh, okay, she's going to be guilt-ridden bad guy, fine. But now she's guilt-ridden bad guy who cannot catch a fucking break. And I am very much wanting to see how she's going to fuck it up even more. That's it, isn't it? It's not how is she going to fuck it up in the sense of make things worse for other characters. It's more how is she going to fuck it up for herself.
Where's Holden? Tell me where he is. He's not here. Tell me and I'll make you stop. Even if he was here, I still wouldn't tell you. Have it your way.
Anna finds Tilly, and Tilly explains that Melba is Clarissa Mao and that she tried to kill her, and that
she's after James Holden.
She's after James Holden, and it's kind of Anna's fault.
Well, she jokingly says, in part, this is all your fault, which is what I was discussing in the last episode as well, which is not true. Like, this isn't Anna's fault that this happened. Yeah, she gave the advice, but it's not on her. It's on Clarissa. It's all Clarissa's fault, and Anna understands.
Clarissa is accountable,
and Anna understands this. But Tilly, this character who has only been here for a couple, how did you feel about her and her ending here? Because it's played very dramatically. It's played for those emotions. You have Anna holding her hand, and both of them are getting very teary-eyed or actually crying, and this once
her tears not falling because of the lack of gravity. was just a wonderful touch.
I liked Tilly because she, in a very short amount of time, gave us a different side than you may have expected. She was this rich drunk lady who wouldn't shut up, had an obnoxious laugh, was always here for some gossip. In her final moments, and not even just her death, but what we saw in the last episode too, as well as brief flashes and others, gave us this understanding that she was a fully rounded person. Just because she was an aging debutante who coasted off her daddy's money doesn't mean that she didn't have any insights on the world at large or on individuals around her. And so when Anna holds her hand and she's mourning the loss of this friend that she just made, I actually feel the loss myself, because this was not just a case of the show told us they were friends or the show paired them up together so they must be friends, but they brought out something in one another, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and it easily could have fallen into that, because Tilly is the reason that Anna got to stay, and it's just like, well, she needs some way of staying, so.
The chemistry of those actors helped a lot as well. Elizabeth Mitchell is just such a warm screen presence that she can make you buy into a lot of things that could be shortcomings in the script, but I believed it. And so when you see her get angry in this episode, because she's pissed the fuck off. It's like, this person just died and they shouldn't have. This is someone's fault and I need to fucking find that person and bring them to justice and make them beg for mercy. And will they be afforded that? Who knows? But Anna, I say that she gets pissed off. Well, what's her game plan? What does she do?
Well, we think that she's just given up because Melba gets in that mech suit, flies off to the Rocinante, and we're like, she picked up that stick, but she didn't get to use it.
Yeah, because she went to the medbay to ask if they could, where she was, and if they could track her, because she needs to be found.
Yes.
And they try to blow her off. And then she grabs a weapon, a baton from one of the guards on the ship that's in the sick bay. They're getting treated, and you're expecting, she's going to face off against Clarissa Mao. She knows who she is, and she knows what she's done.
We're going to get another tooth biting scene, and
she's going to zap her instead or something. But No.
She misses Clarissa. Clarissa gets out in the mech spacesuit thing. And we're watching as Anna's stuck on the other side.
But what's she screaming about? What's she banging on that glass about? She's not just saying, "Ow, come on, come back." No, she has points of view. It's not just, "Let me beat you up." As we're illustrating.
It's just like you do the right thing. She's begging Melba to do the right thing.
She's also not revealing what she knows. She says that she's aware, like she gives the strong impression she's aware of
but
that.
But she's still calling her Melba.
Yeah, she's not letting her know she's like, I know you're Clarissa Mao and I know you're after James Holt. Like she lets slip some things, but not all the things. That's what was really great. But she's saying you come back and beg for mercy. And Elizabeth Mitchell's tone of voice when delivering that line, it very much says to me that
Anna don't deserve mercy.
Yeah,
then.
Anna doesn't believe in that. Like, yeah, they'll make her do that, but I don't think that Anna believes that this person is capable of receiving that mercy. Not right in that moment, because she's still affected by the loss of
You say not
someone.
Capable. It's Melba does not want mercy. She only wants revenge. And I don't think Anna thinks that she deserves it.
I need you to come back here to atone, to meet the justice, to meet the god and all of that. And Melba just yeets into space. Bye. I'm not doing that.
Naomi also yeets herself into space.
She's back in the seat.
She's back in the seat.
They said to her, "Hey, you got to sit down all last episode. We're going to make you do some jumping around in this one." And then the actress Dominique Tipper was like, "Oh, I like sitting down."
Gets into the Rossi, finds Alex, finds Amos, gets them treated. Here's the breach, goes down without a weapon, which we were both just like, bitch, whatever you find down there, it's going to be good for you to have a gun. You know this.
Not even a gun. A wrench. Something.
Anything.
You fucking idiot, Naomi. I love Naomi and I hate Naomi at the same time.
We get the battle against Melba. And Naomi is like trying to be smart.
She's jumping around.
But it's just like, Melba has a mech suit. She can just fly up.
But what else do you do? In her defense,
she's always going to fight. She's always going to fight.
This is a complete stranger. She doesn't know who this is.
Anna rescues her.
But before Anna zaps Clarissa, that's like the end of the scene, and it's marvelous, and I can't wait to see what goes on.
And we would have loved for that to be
the end of the episode. That would have been a great end of the episode. Better than ominous trailer line from Holden. But she just hears that Melba wants James Holden, and James Holden isn't here, and this person that Naomi has no clue of who they are, what side they're on, what their agenda is going to defend James Holden. She's not going to give him up, and because she doesn't know anything, and even if she did, she wouldn't give it to you. No. Fuck you. I'm not going to sell out my boy James Holden. Fucking kill me then, bitch. And you see Naomi still struggling, fighting back, wanting to live, but there's also
she's willing to die.
She's willing to die. She's willing to die for her family. And this fucking Clarissa Mao, she's trying to do all of this for family too, but she doesn't actually have a family. No. She doesn't understand what family actually is. And she's trying to murder someone who has just come to terms with what family is. And then she gets taken down by the Reverend, and I love the exchange of looks between Anna and Naomi of like relief and shock and awe, but also Naomi knows who Anna is. Like, she's aware of who Anna is. Now, we will see that hopefully play out in the next episode, but this is the woman who took down the evil establishment of Earth, and here she is on the Rocinante taking down another bad guy.
And just after they got her back, Alex acknowledges her return, and Amos has that bit where he asks her, like, what are you back for?
Oh, for Naomi?
Yeah. And then it's just like, and then she's getting her throat crushed. It's just like, I don't think this is going to be the end of you.
This show.
But I assumed that it was going to be Amos that came in and saved her. And when it was Anna, I was delighted.
Yeah. When we were bitching about Bobby being a bit too familiar with things, I think the same could be labeled for Naomi admitting that she's come back because she now understands the value of family and that they're closer. But they spent many, many, many episodes delving into that, exploring that, analyzing that, really challenging Naomi, her behavior, her ideology, if she's been in the right or wrong. So when you get to that scene where she opens up to Amos and makes his day and gives him a big old smile, and she's happy to be back with Rocinante, even though the main person that she's come back for isn't there, it doesn't feel as lacking as some other elements of this series, because you can't fault it for not putting in the legwork for it.
No. There are other places where sort of this similar thing happens. Like, I engage with a lot of romance stuff. And it's rare for them to have like that thing where it's like the missed meeting with the loved one. And you know that that's coming, but you are satisfied that they're meeting up with these other people. Like, I'm glad that Naomi's getting to reconnect with Amos and Alex and touch base with them. It doesn't feel like a trap door of and now she's even more heartbroken because Holden isn't there. It's just no, she's back on the Rossi. She's got kind of 3 of the 4 things because she's got the ship, she's got Alex, she's got Amos. She needs Holden back, but it doesn't feel like this is unfinished.
Back to help, back to stay.
Stay.
I guess it took being away to understand that you're my family.
Drummer and Ashford are pinned together during the episode. This series loves having characters be pinned by machinery or something in a cargo hold, having legs crushed or hips or any of that. It's happened a myriad of times now. Is this our new evil scientists of the show where they realize they've had too many evil scientists, now they have to have some crushing?
Yeah, I think it's just a very convenient slow burn danger. Because the danger is imminent and they have to find a solution and have ingenuity.
Having characters physically incapable has forced them to talk in a way that they wouldn't before, or to be in a certain type of danger that they haven't been in before. When it was Holden with his leg pinned, it wasn't just, oh no, it's scary that the hybrid is slowly coming towards me, but it was him stuck in the realization that this could be his final moments, and so he had to open up to everyone in a way that he would not have done before. And that's what this is for both Drummer and Ashford. They, until the very end, don't have any concerns about how this has affected the rest of the ship or all of the stuff that they've been fighting over, right? The need for being the top dog, the person who calls the shots. No, they are instead thinking about their mortality here, but also what they have been fighting for in the sense of the ideology, rather than the need to say, I have power, I'm the captain now, I'm the one that you have to fall into line with. And that is classic TV. Now, whether you pin them or you put them together in a room, whether you lock the door and throw away the key, you're making people who haven't communicated effectively during the run of the show have to communicate effectively with one another. Will they grow to appreciate the value of the other? Hopefully so. And with Drummer and Ashford, Rachel, tell us a little bit more about their dire circumstances and what they begin to learn about the other and their views.
They are forced into this set of circumstances through it's a nice choice, because it's the equipment that she went down there to retrofit because he called her out for letting Naomi go. Because otherwise it wouldn't have been her there. And she also left because she was tired of his undermining and didn't want to hit him in front of the crew.
He was there to still undermine her. That's why he's physically in this location, to wheel and deal, to play his little games.
He went there to do, the next step in the plan. And it's interesting because at the end, when he does have command, there is that sense of it being a little bit more bittersweet. Because he was forced to look at Drummer and look at who she is and what she stands for, and how that could be of benefit to the belt. Because he has an idea of what the belt needs. And this difference is kind of epitomized by their opinion on the uniform. She says we shouldn't give up our individuality to appeal to the idea of the inners and to take what they say is good.
We already have our own culture, our own symbols, because he's saying it's about symbolism.
We are good enough. And he's like, no, they need to see us as one, at least for now. So, but like, you get the sense that he wouldn't have added the for now before this conversation. It would have been, we need to be one. We need to be united front, because that's what nations do.
That's
how
do.
Nations act. Like, that's how Earth is, how Mars is.
That's how the victorious work.
We should be too if we want to win this. And after his interactions with Drummer, he's just left being like, no, maybe she does have a point. Maybe we shouldn't give up that sense of individuality, and those sort of wherever we are is where we have a right to be, which was much more coming from Drummer than him. But I also think that there's that big shift in terms of his character, but there is a shift in her as well. And I think it's a sort of pivotal moment with them singing together.
Under all of his bluster, under all of his convictions that he puts down, insight, wisdom, because he has thought things through, at least. He knows what he stands for. While Drummer, she is living life. She does it moment by moment. She may have a vague idea, but...
She knows what she doesn't want more than she knows what she wants.
But she can't argue against Ashford easily, because once you open up his mouth, he has things to say. While Drummer, she doesn't always have that layer of insight. Yeah, she knows on a sense and she acts on a sense, but she doesn't always think things through the way he does. But underneath all of his stuff is that need for opposition. Throughout all of this, he's seen Drummer as opposition, someone to take down, someone to beat. He did that with Anderson Dawes when it came to the uniforms. I won eventually. I got my point across. And that's what is happening with all of his stuff, is he keeps tying it back to, we need to one up the inners. We need to show them that we're worthy, that we're better than. And he even applies it to his fellow belters, with Drummer, with Naomi, with the uniforms, and all of his ideology still stems from, we need to have a hierarchy and we're at the top.
Yeah.
And we're at the top because we beat others. We beat others not even just in the sense of fists or weapons or war, but we beat others because of tactics and because of symbolism, because of culture. Like, it's always about beating the other.
It's that it's historically obvious is the way that I see it. He is somebody who has been under imperialism, colonization, basically. And he wants to use the tools of his oppressors to oppress them in return. And that idea is based on the fact that a limited amount of power exists. And you only get power if you take it. Drummer, on the other hand, seems to believe that there is as much power as anybody wants. You just have to take it. You don't have to take it from somebody else.
The thing that makes their differences clash in a way that is dramatically compelling is we do side with Ashford in some minute way because he wants unity.
Mm-hmm. He's working with the existing system.
And what he is saying he wants is something that most people can get behind, because even if we just look at it from just in the series itself, the OPA is made up of many disparate groups, many different people, many different factions within the OPA, within the Belter culture, and they're
not
be
united,
and they can be very drastic. We see that there are very violent, amoral, ruthless groups within the Belt, and they will eject people into space just because. But then we see others who are very much not like that at all, and it's a worry that you would see from people who were rebelling, who have now established themselves, of how do we make our image come across as not the bloodthirsty barbarians that do occupy within our culture. While Drummer, she's not really trying to opt for that kind of quote-unquote utopian ideal of unity. She is arguing that no, our differences make us special, but in practical terms, her stuff doesn't help right now. Like, here's this incident at the ring that paints us like the same old terrorists that we used to be. We need to have some PR. We need to have uniforms. We need to have a name. Like, that's what Ashford is arguing for. And wouldn't you say that there is a little bit of validity to that idea of?
Oh, yes. I think I agree with him when he says they need to see us as one for now. I think he's right. Because as long as they're seen as groups and not a nation, they're not seen as being on the same level as Earth and Mars.
There is something to her point about not erasing our values, our culture, the thing that makes us so unique, because that has been what the Earthers and the Martians have tried. They have tried to condition us. They have punished us. They have taken away our supplies, our resources, our wants, needs, desires, because we aren't abiding by what they're wanting. We have been punished, but through that punishment, we have found our own identity. And if you are trying to remove that identity and make it similar to the people that we've been fighting against, what was the point of fighting against them in the first place? Which, I mean, what do you think about that? Because that's a part of it too. Like, what he's doing is basically making them conform to things that they were not wanting to conform to, like the uniforms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but the trouble is that you can't keep you can't keep a group together solely based on definitions of what you are not. You need something, like, if it's going to be long term, it needs to be something that unites.
We are who we are. That's what makes us Belter. That's the way the inners need to see us.
Yeah, well, they will in time. But right now, they need to see us as one.
They have a moment of connection when it comes to not just talking about their differences of belief, but they know more about each other. They learn about each other's pasts and what
confirmation that it was a daughter.
Yes, that Ash had lost a daughter. I assumed it was a son, but yes, a daughter. But they learn about the closest that they've ever come to death, like their biggest risk, their biggest fuck ups, the worst things that they've done, and that both of them just had very stupid things happen to them, like but now here they are, and this is the moment where they could die, but it was for something big, for something great, for something profound. And although they may not see eye to eye on the methods of it, they can see eye to eye on that, at least, of, hey, we could both die here, but we both died in the in a cause of something, rather than just, oh, I'm in it because I wanted to get some pussy, or I was in it because I was drunk, or whatever the case may be. And I really like that for the both of them, because it's all familiar. This trap them together, they learn about each other's past, they learn about each other's views on the world, and they grow closer. But it's tried and true for a reason. And this series, as we just went through in our conversation, when it comes to these two, it has a point. It has a point to make, and it has a way that this series does it that no other series does, the character work here. And that is what makes it solid gold to me. Now, could this be bad? Yeah, it could be. Like, you could easily make this not work. You could make this really dull. But it's also funny. We didn't talk about that a lot. Like, this stuff's really funny.
Yeah, when like the power fails and it crushes the hand link.
Or when Ashford starts singing in the first place, and she bitches about him singing and saying it doesn't make you interesting. In fact, it makes you less interesting. They're back and forth, and how she is still remaining relatively calm underneath all of the pressures going on with him undermining her, or her literally being crushed right now. And then she reveals, well, that's a front a bit. I'm actually very pissed off, and I came down here. No one knows I'm here because I was going to lose my temper, and now look what it's done. But they have their, like, they understand, but then she looks up and she sees some bodies floating up high, and she realizes that she needs to make a sacrifice here, because they've been trying.
A choice needs to be made.
She's the captain.
Because we loop background, because that was one of the first things that they figured out. They could either move it forward or they could move it back. And they were trying to work together so that they both would survive. And she decides to sacrifice herself and goes, have it all. Have the fucking thing. I'm done.
And I think that's the difference between the two of them as well. She is willing to let it go.
Yeah. Whereas she feels like she has this thing, and she never fully accepted that she was worthy of it. And he wants it. He wants it so badly. He accepts it. But he doesn't have that sense of... It feels like he's disappointed that it isn't a straight victory.
He also is having to not come across as weak, because he has punctured a lung. He's bleeding on the inside.
He has a death sentence.
But he can't acknowledge that right now. Now, he can save himself by going into, because his plan is, he gets saved, and his plan is, let's spin the drum of the ship. Let's spin this baby.
That's how it was designed, to create gravity.
Yes, to replicate.
It's a generational ship.
So let's spin it, and we can take the injured there, and they can heal properly. And he is injured. He needs that healing, but he's not going to reveal that until the mission is done, and maybe not even then. No. And that, to me, was really present in his performance. He's frail, he's weak, but he's trying to maintain and be strong. But you said, there's this level of, I've won. I can't believe it. I've won. I wish I won in a better way, but I've won. And you can tell he's already a little bit power mad. He's like, yeah, because he has all of this wonderful...
He has the asset that the rest of them need as well.
And he's going to exploit that.
He is, like, really righteous as he does that broadcast to all the ships, being like, bring them here.
And he's
we got you covered.
And he's so happy to...
Belters to the rescue.
He's so happy to fall back into what he was before the conversation. Yes. In that conversation, he grew, but as soon as it was over, he reverted right back. He's making plays. He's talking over Drummer's body laying there about how we need to save these people, this people, but he's playing to his crowd to make them really happy that he's captain, and he keeps being so thrilled to be called captain. I'm not acting captain. He's not even pretending like Drummer could come back. And even if she does, she's not coming back. I'm in charge.
Yeah,
By the time
I'm not going to give the power back to her.
By the time she can stand and do anything, it will be too late because the loyalty will be all mine. No one will want her back because I'm the savior. I did this, and guess what? Everyone else in this system is going to be fucking crawling and begging and thanking me for what I've done here today. I love it. I think Ashford is a great antagonistic force in this season. I do miss Aaron Wright, but Ashford is a similar level of sleaze, but in a different as well.
It's still a wolf in sheep's clothing.
And that is the episode. We have talked about that ominous final line, but do we have an ominous final rating?
So we give ratings. Yum equals bad, yum yum equals good. So, Fallen Kingdom.
No.
Fallen World.
Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom, I give it a yum.
Yum.
Now, what do you give Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? Do you give it a yum or yum yum? Yum being bad, yum being good?
I haven't watched it, but I'm pretty sure it would be a yum.
Yum.
But this episode of The Expanse, Fallen World, is it a yum or a yum yum for you, my husband?
It's 50-50, isn't it? Because there's some things in here that especially the Bobby stuff, I really don't care for.
It's not all good. It's not all bad. The good is pretty good. The bad is pretty bad. But I need to hear yum either once or twice come out of your mouth, honey. You made it. You made this rating, sister.
Yes, yum is bad, yum yum is good. No half yums. We're not allowed to be wishy-washy, indecisive. No point yum. No.
No yum and then a pause and then a second yum.
I'm going to give this a yum yum.
Yum yum.
It's a very tentative yum yum, but the main thing you're here for is so good. The main thing of Ashford and Drummer finally having a proper conversation is delivered upon. This is everything you need of it and more. We get some singing, we get some jokes, we get some genuine raw drama out of it. We learn more about these two, and it gives those actors their time to shine, and I'm really thankful for that. But what about you, Rachel?
I give it a yum yum.
Yum yum.
It doesn't fall into the same problems that I had with that episode a couple ago where it was just moving the pieces. Because there is enough character stuff here that I do like. It is not a great episode, but on the whole, it just inches into that yum yum category. And you ready to hear the title to the next episode?
The title of the next episode is unknown to myself. Now, you know it.
Which, whenever we do this, I am worried that I wrote down the title wrong.
Fallen Kingdom is next for The Expanse.
No,
is this
Congregation is next.
Congregation? This has to be an Anna episode.
Has to be an Anna episode. Has to be them gathering on the fucking temple ship.
Oh, of course. Yes. Now, Anna and all of them don't have to gather there, but others will. Predictions. Now, we will make some about the next episode or anything further down the road for The Expanse. And with Congregation being the title, we said it. It's got to be Anna related, and it's got to be about the Mormon ship being this place of...
Will Holden get back to the Martian ship?
I don't think so. I think that they're going to divert their way to either back to the Nucleus or for some reason the Behemoth, because the Martian ship that he's on were interested in the Behemoth. They had some stakes in that. They had investment in that. But here's my big prediction. This is truly worthwhile. So please, everyone sit down. This is Anna is on the Rocinante,
Yes.
which means we have not only the potential, but the given. Her and Amos will talk. Think about that. Think about that.
I have been.
I can't wait.
been.
It's an obvious prediction, but the prediction is her and Amos will have some great conversations ahead.
I really hope so.
Want her to try and talk to him in a way that's motivational, and for him to be Amos about it and her to be Anna about it. Oil and water, these two, but it will be a beautiful relationship. I think they will get on, but I think the raw sexual chemistry between...
respect her a lot.
I know that she's gay, but the raw sexual chemistry between those two actors will be on the screen. I think I'm going to ship them.
Hey, we know that he's at least flexible.
He is. I don't know about Anna. I don't know if this is... but, and she's married, so she's a good woman, and she's a religious woman, but I want them to talk. Alex will also talk to her. That's fine. She will probably help him realize shit about his family or not. I don't care about that. I want
not as
her
interested.
to talk to
Amos.
That's my big prediction. The congregation is actually her having a congregation with Amos. And when it comes to predictions further down the road, I don't have too much that's shifted because this one didn't move the needle too much with the big game plan.
Oh, I think
it's maybe people learn about it being a super weapon and that's going to cause more panic.
My theory is, so they said that at the moment, the current speed limit is going to take them 7 months to get back to the ring. And I think they're gonna at least discuss everybody having to get on the behemoth and them using all of the resources that exist as a generational ship in order to create the provisions required to sustain them on a 7-month journey.
I was going to go the opposite direction. I think they're all going to want to go into the nucleus. It's one of those where in the eye of the storm, we might as well keep riding through it than pull it back. Like we're in a rip.
Yeah.
We're going to go, but do you have any more predictions for the next episode or for down the road of this series?
I think that Ashford is going to visit Drummer in like the hospital ward thing. I think we're going to get that. I do agree with you. I don't think Holden is going to make it back to the Martians, but I'm not sure how that detour
What about the
happen.
reporters? They're there waiting.
Yeah.
He could, and they could vouch for him.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with them. They're still a wild card that's been left.
I miss them. I miss them. I loved sleazy reporters. I loved them. I love documentarians who are just hucksters. I love them. I don't know, but is there any big ideas, any big concepts that you have floating around in your brain with the Expanse?
Nah.
I don't either. It feels like it's been a little bit of time since we've pulled one of those out of our hats. I think it's just been steady. I think things have been on a straight and narrow and haven't pulled any
a potential doomsday
weird tricks.
weapon. That's pretty big.
I really hope that Christian comes back. She has not really been in the show, and that's such a sadness to me. I should give this episode a yum for that crime alone, but that is it. We are done with our discussion for Fallen Kingdom Jurassic World and, of course, Fallen World The Expanse.
Falling down.
Falling Down, Michael Douglas. Is there other... I swear there's a movie just called Fallen. But we are done and dusted. Oh, Dusters. Makes me think of my friend, the Gaunt Belter, who I miss very much so. Almost as much as I miss Havelock. No, in fact, more than I miss Havelock, because I know Havelock will return. He will be back next time on The Expanse. That's the real prediction. Havelock will come back in the next episode. He is, in fact, the ring. The ring is just Havelock's mouth opened, yawning.
Okay, but while you're waiting for that episode to drop, either on Patreon, where these get released first, Or if you've waited and waited and waited and you're listening to this on the main feed and you want to engage with us a little bit more, you can hop on the Discord if you are on that Patreon and give us a message in Exploring the Expanse or the spoiler tab that we don't see. You can look us up on the various social medias under yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast, or email us at yumyumpod@gmail.com.
We would appreciate it too if you spared the time to share the podcast around and let people know
give
that
it a review
there
if your
is,
podcatcher of choice
of course,
allows.
review the show, rate the show. That would be very much liked from us. We would give a big thumbs up and say, thank you so
Yum,
much. Yum yum. We would give you a yum yum for that, but please share the podcast about. Let people know that there are newbies to the Expanse. There are people with fresh eyes, fresh takes, fresh perspectives, giving a look at this series that is very much beloved. And that is all we have to say to you. We better skedaddle, Rachel, because I mentioned Havelock and the Gaunt Belter, and people are going to expect me to want to talk more about that. And you to talk more about that.
Nah,
and if we start doing
I'm
that,
done.
this podcast will be like an hour longer. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
See you then. Well, voila.